right, I hate to do it. I hate to bring Joe back in because he did mention the C word in our last segment, which, as we know, is as un-American as communism.
What? I mentioned communism?
You might as well have, Joe.
Oh.
You said. You said.
I said compromise.
Joe, it hurts my ears.
It's music to my ears. I hear like harps and unicorns.
We don't like it, Joe.
Clap on
compromise is weakness.
Yellow brick road.
Listen, let me tell you something. I've been married for 20 years. And one thing I've learned.
Wife is always right.
There is no compromise. Somebody has to win. It's her. But somebody will win. There is no compromising along the way, Joe.
That's what I love about marriage.
Right. Compromise is weakness. Compromise is loss, Joe.
Man, I'm learning so much
That's
today.
It. Compromise is like taking a safety in football when you have the lead, Joe. It's just weakness.
Sometimes that's a smart move.
Oh, smart is not what we do in America, Joe.
Compromise is lost. Noted.
Compromise is lost. So,
okay.
Former President Trump is coming to town.
Yes.
He'll be at the border. You just heard Jimmy West.
Thursday, Cochise County, Sierra Vista. Friday, Glendale, Desert Diamond Arena.
The Desert Diamond Arena.
Lots of rodeos.
So my question is this. Why do you think his visit is a telltale sign of which way Arizona is leaning? And do you mind if I start us off here?
No, please do.
Because I have some thought. I've been mulling this for the last day or so.
I love mulling.
Yeah. So, not coincidentally, and I made mention of this in our last segment, there's going to be a lot of visits to our state because immigration is a top priority issue, second only in national polling to the economy. Immigration is the place where Trump has always pulled the strongest. Immigration is one of the places where Harris has pulled the weakest because she was supposed to be the border czar, right? And
never went to the border.
She never went to the border, right? So it's a strategic move for him to come to Arizona. And it does two things. It, one, emphasizes where he's had some political strengths in the past, and two, it emphasizes where she's had political weakness. And her momentum is growing in Arizona. You may have seen the most recent polls. It's almost even. I mean, it is a dead heat. We are well within the margin of error as far as Arizona's presidential preference right now. But this is the home to her biggest vulnerability. She's not hurting when it comes to California, border state. She's not hurting when it comes to New Mexico, border state. He's not hurting when it comes to Texas, border state. Of the 4 border states, this is the only one that's in play. And with immigration being such a huge issue, we're the backdrop. You might say we're being used as props. So be it. We can take advantage of that, though, right? So with the other border states being settled, that means our local issue is a national issue. And his visit shows, I would say that what we know as, I'm going to call it his typical enthusiasm and attendance. He usually does really well. That would be a very good sign for him. If he's at Desert Diamond, though, and we've seen this at a handful of other gatherings, and he loves to talk about crowd size. And he loves to diminish her crowd size and claim that it's all made up or it's AI or something of that sort, right? I mean, he's very much about who had the bigger crowd, who's more popular. If we see empty seats in the upper bowl at Desert Diamond, it may be a sign that people are getting burned out. Attendance, as we know, is key for him. I also think that unlike some other candidates, it's key for his supporters. I think they pay very close attention to what that attendance would be. And attendance isn't everything, because we saw in 2020, he was filling stadiums. He was filling arenas. Joe Biden wasn't. I mean, we agree on that, right? He wasn't. But, so it's not everything. But he keeps hammering Harris on the border and immigration and the economy. And if he does that in Arizona, he might start turning some undecideds in his direction. Even though he keeps telling you about how bad everything is and he wants to reinforce your grievances, and it can be a little bit grating, if that's a big issue to you, you see those as a shortcoming of the Biden and Harris administration. So even if Trump kind of grates on your nerves a little bit, you go, yeah, but at least he's addressing those 2 big issues or 3 big issues that I really care deeply about.
What do you think about the silent majority, though. A lot of people say that Trump has the silent majority behind him. And you talk about the crowd size being a big deal. If we see empty seats at Desert Diamond on Friday, is that necessarily a bad sign? Because could Trump still rationalize to himself, maybe an ego hit, but I know, hey, hot weather, people may be burned out on my rallies, but they're still going to vote for me because they prefer Republican policies to what Biden and Harris have been up to.
Okay, couple thoughts on this. One, you're expecting honest self-evaluation. He's not going to say maybe people are burned out on me and my rallies.
How about honest assessment from you based on him? But yeah, he will not do that. No.
But as far as what that means to the campaign, absolutely I'm not going to say it's a silent majority, but there is a silent, a very loud silent group, oxymoronically, that
prefer GOP policies to Democratic policies?
That's it. Yeah, they're red and they're going to vote Republican. But I would say that Trump, more than any other politician, maybe even in history, relies on the enthusiasm in order to try to build the get out the vote movement. And if people who are sort of in that undecided or murky middle witness that even his supporters are losing some enthusiasm, what's to bring them to the polls? To what? Vote against the abortion thing? To vote against waitresses getting minimum wage? I mean, what's to bring them? If I'm not super excited and I see and I turn on the news and they go, hey, well, Trump is in town, and they show a shot and I see that he's got, he's only sold out 3/4 of the place, I just kind of go, I'm not paying very close. They don't care. Why should I?
What about potentially a Prop 314 that would allow local law enforcement to enforce down at the border?
Well, if you are in tune with that sort of thing,
sure.
Yes. But if you are someone who's in the murky middle and not paying very close attention,
you may not even know that Prop 314 is.
Absolutely. In fact, it took me a second when you said, what about Prop 314? And I thought, okay, wait a minute. Is that the pie prop?
I had to look it up earlier.
3.14159? Yeah, the pie prop. That's what it is.
I think you and I compromised very nicely.
People who don't ever say that again. People who don't care for Trump's antics but are concerned with 4 more years of a Biden administration might be looking for that release, that emergency valve. They would never look for a compromise, Joe.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.